Shabbat Shalom. Our selection today is Ride On, King Yahshua.
No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. Ride on, King Yahshua. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder. Let me tell you about the coming judgment. Fare thee well, fare thee well. Let me tell you about the coming judgment. Fare thee well, fare thee well. Let me tell you about the coming judgment. Fare thee well, fare thee well. Let me tell you about the coming judgment. Fare thee well, fare thee well. Ride on, King Yahshua. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. In that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well. Ride on, King Yahshua. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua. No man cannot hinder me. Ride on, King Yahshua, ride on. No man cannot hinder me. No man cannot hinder me.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things, have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Praise Yahweh that we were able to make it through our Passover, as I opened up that night with congratulations that you have made it through the first level of the Holy Day Purge. When people are first getting into this word, you don't really get that thing that things get more intense when you get toward Yahweh's holy days, because the thing is, the adversary, the devil, does not want us to keep these days. The adversary, the devil, does not want us to make an appearance unto Yahweh, although he himself, he's going to do what he has to do to make his appearance, but he's going to do everything he can to keep you from making yours. You can't get any more slick or deceptive than that somebody will talk you out of something, and then you find out that they did those things that they talked you out of. So that is something that Israel has to consider. When we even think about coming out of Egypt and coming from a part of captivity to becoming kings, not kings over the earth, but kings over our own destiny. A captive doesn't have to make any decisions. All the decisions are made for the captive. The captive doesn't have to do anything. Everything is told the captive. But once you come out of captivity, Yahweh had to give us a law, because at that point, when you come from a point of being a captive to now you have the power of decision making, how are you going to make those decisions? How are you going to orchestrate your life now that you have power over that, now that you're not a captive anymore? Well, that's where Yahweh's law comes into effect. And if you don't deal with the law, you are then just dealing with how you perceive certain things. And that's going to be a problem. That's going to get us in a situation where we activate the jealousy of Yahweh our Elohim, because we don't understand which things are going to put him in a place. When you go through all of the things of the oracles, those oracles are put together so that we understand not how to step, in a way that causes the angel to go against us. Because it says, beware, I have sent an angel to lead you in a way. Do not provoke him. Are we watching the individuals, or are we paying attention to see if we have provoked the angel whose job it is to lead that group of people and to do that particular thing with that group of people? Once we change directions, we have then grieved the Holy Spirit. We read it every week so that people will understand that when Yahweh sends his angel to say, lead these people here, I need these people here at this time and at this date, he's going to get there. Now, he may not get there with everybody, but he's going to get there. And all that are not able to make it, they're just not able to make it. You got wise, you got foolish virgins. At the end of the day, the angel, if he's an angel for Yahweh, our Elohim, he's not going to receive a failing report. He's going to get those there who he could get there. Let's begin today's sermon in Deuteronomy chapter 34. And today's sermon is entitled, From Captives to Kings. And Yahweh had to give us a law, not just because we were coming into his land, but you have now a bunch of people who have all of a sudden have decision-making power. This is something that we disrespect. We don't understand the power of that. All of a sudden, this is why it's written. It says, when a servant bears rule, the people mourn. Why? He hasn't learned how to serve, so he hasn't learned how to rule. He hasn't gotten to that point of understanding how to deal with power. So you just go from that to something else, and it ends up causing an issue. This is why Yahweh gave us a law, and the kings were supposed to meditate in that law day and night. And no matter how we think, feel, and believe, when we get to that point that we start dealing with things without even considering Yahweh's law, we're on a different path. Deuteronomy chapter 34, and let's start that at verse 1.
And Moshe went up from the plains of Moab onto the mountain of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And Yahweh showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Yehudah unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. And Yahweh said unto him, This is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Esaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto your seed. I have caused you to see it with your eyes, but you shall not go over thither.
So when we deal with these things, we're dealing with long-term promises. See, Yahweh is a long-term Elohim. What we try to deal with is the short-term right now. And Yahweh said unto him, This is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Esau, and unto Jacob. These are promises that were made before you was around. I'm bringing you into promises that were made before you. Go ahead.
So Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of Yah. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knows of his grave unto this day. And Moshe was 120 years old when he died. His eyes was not dim, nor his natural force abated.
Right. And when you ever seen a man die, and he told you he was finna die, his strength is there, his eyesight is there, and he just walk up a hill. What funeral y'all ever went to like that? But then don't nobody go with him. See, when we bury people, somebody got to go to dig the hole. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel wept for Moshe in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moshe were ended.
But you know what? It was fitting for Israel. Because when Moshe went up to that mount to go and deal with Yahweh, they said, oh, he must be dead. An evil beast must have got him. He been gone 40 days. Ain't nobody going to live up there in that mountain 40 days. He dead. He most definitely dead. So then what Yahweh do for his burial? Do the same thing when they thought you were dead. Just go and walk up the mountain. Just go and walk. See, Yahweh stuff is poetic, but you got to meditate on it to get the points of how he's dealing. This is what y'all did. Y'all thought he was dead. Because your feelings went into action instead of having the faith and believing, they thought he was dead. Yahweh did his burial the same way. Just walk. Go ahead.
And Yahshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moshe had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as Yahweh commanded Moshe.
Right. Moshe had laid his hands on him, and Yahshua was obedient all the way down to the wire. Go ahead.
And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moshe, whom Yahweh knew face to face. And all the signs and the wonders which Yahweh sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land.
And all the signs and wonders which Yahweh sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land. Moshe was obedient. Regardless as to what anybody think, feel, and believe about him, he was obedient unto the things that he was charged with. And at the end of the day, those are the things that's going to either get you favor of Elohim or get you facing judgment. Everybody enter into personal situations. But when Yahweh gives you a charge, how do you respond to dealing with that charge? My elder used to say all the time, people always got into their own things. It's how you deal with the things of Yahweh that ended up getting the children of Israel in the most trouble that they ever did see. Go ahead.
And in all that mighty hand, and in all the great terror which Moshe showed in the sight of all Israel.
All right, let's go to Joshua chapter 1.
Now after the death of Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, it came to pass that Yahweh spake unto Yahshua the son of Nun, Moshe's minister, saying,
Now, what does minister mean? He was Moshe's what? Servant. He was Moshe's servant. So you serve first, then you become a leader. Anytime you have a leader who has not served, you have some issues. Yahweh has to show them how to be a servant so that they can understand how to be a leader. Go ahead.
Moshe, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moshe. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moshe, so will I be with you.
No, you know what? He was stronger with Yahshua than he was with Moshe. Or the people had learned. See, those disobedient ones had to pass on. So all of the things that Yahshua was able to do, he didn't face the same issues that Moshe faced. These people had indignation against Moshe. Yahshua didn't face all that. Go ahead.
I will not fail you nor forsake you. Be strong and of a good courage. For unto this people shall you divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be you strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law which Moshe my servant commanded you.
Right. Not do everything that you feel. Observe to do according to all the law which Moshe my servant commanded you. This is why the leaders are supposed to meditate in the law day and night. So when it comes down to something, when you have an issue with somebody, did they break the law, or are you just in your feelings? So that's something that we have to deal with. Because Yahweh don't hold righteous judgment against somebody's feelings. What he does is hold righteous judgment against what was done in the law. As it is written, produce your cause. Go ahead.
Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper whithersoever you goeth. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night.
Instructions. See, if we're going to serve Yahweh, then we have to serve him according to how things are written. Go ahead.
That you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Have not I commanded you? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be you dismayed. For Yahweh your El is with you, whithersoever you goeth.
Now, it says, for then shall you make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. But understand, you have situations where people have walked against Yahweh's law and have had good success. So that confuses the children of Israel. But remember, the adversary was standing there with Yahshua saying, I'll give you all this. He's got the power to give you a whole lot of things. I'll give you this. Just serve me. I'll give you power, honor, riches, all that stuff. Just follow me. So now here comes the confusion. You have the prosperity of Yahweh, and then you have the prosperity of the adversary, the devil. Go ahead.
Then Yahshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the host, and command the people, saying, Prepare you victuals, for within 3 days you shall pass over this Jordan to go in to possess the land, which Yahweh your El gives you to possess it. And to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh spake Yahshua, saying, Remember the word which Moshe the servant of Yahweh commanded you, saying, Yahweh your El has given you rest, and has given you this land. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle shall remain in the land which Moshe gave you on this side Jordan, but you shall pass before your brethren armed, all the mighty men of valor, and help them.
Now, it takes some serious faith to be able to deal with some of the things that Yahweh is commanding the children of Israel. To turn around and walk away from your family to go and handle this business. And to trust in Yahweh that they still going to be safe when you get back. See, we read this from an exterior point of view. We don't put ourselves in it. And because we don't put ourselves in it, what ends up happening when we have personal things in our lives, we don't consider the very things that are written in this book. And we have to. You have to put yourself in that situation. What would it feel like to you? Otherwise, you're really not understanding what's written here. You're just going through the words on a knowledge basis, but it ain't getting in here. You can regurgitate everything that's here. I've known people that had photographic memories. They can tell you a scripture, verse, tell you all of that. As soon as a situation happened, they didn't know what scripture to apply. But they can quote them all day long. You say something, you start saying the scripture, they can finish. Boom. I mean, every time. Oh my God. Just awesome. Seems so intelligent. Situation happened, they ain't got sense enough to come out of the rain. You do know it raining, right? Why are you standing there? None of the word did them any good when situations came up in their life. But if you stand there and put them on the corner, they can play battle script with the best. They play battle script, boy, you ain't gonna win. Every script you got, they got another one. Pow-pow! Sit back and watch them as they walk. Every time a situation come up, you be like, all right, here go the time for that scripture you just quote, but you didn't use it. Okay, all right, now here go, and then there it goes by. So you realize there's natural understanding, and then there's the spiritual application of that. If you don't have the spiritual application, that's this thing that they call in school comprehension. Can you read it? Yeah, I can read it. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle. All right. Now, did you comprehend? Time to go in. And you look up, and somebody's kid standing right by him. Why the hell is your kid here? Look, wait a minute. Let's go back and read. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle shall remain in the land. Why the hell is your kid here? Huh? So you read it. You understood it. So you said, but then here when it comes time to apply, your comprehension is not what it appeared to be. So be careful just because you hear somebody that can do a whole lot of quoting. Watch the life and see when them issues show up. Do they know which scripture to apply at the time it is needed to be applied? Go ahead.
Verse 15. Until Yahweh have given your brethren rest, as he has given you, and they also have possessed the land which Yahweh your El gives them. Then you shall return unto the land of your possession, and enjoy it, which Moshe, Yahweh's servant, gave you on this side Jordan toward the sun rising. And they answered Yahshua, saying, All that you command us we will do, and whithersoever you send us we will go. According as we hearkened unto Moshe in all things, so will we hearken unto you.
I don't know how I feel about that statement. We'd had to have a whole conversation right there. According as we hearken to Moshe, so will we hearken unto you. Well, wait a minute now. This requires a conversation, because I seen how y'all hearken unto Moshe. You know, y'all listened to him until it got on y'all nerves, and then you was ready to kill him. As soon as something didn't go right, y'all were gathering up rocks to kill him. So I don't know how I feel about that statement right there. We're going to follow you just like we followed Moshe. I mean, he went up the mountain, y'all thought he was dead. He started doing stuff, y'all all came against him. Don't follow me like you followed Moshe. I seen how you did that. Look, don't do like your daddies. I watched them. Don't do that. Go ahead.
Only Yahweh your El be with you, as he was with Moshe.
But hey, you got to check that now. Check that. According as we hearken unto Moshe in all things, so will we hearken unto you. Only Yahweh be with you, as he was with Moshe. So now, Israel done already threw a condition in there. If we don't think the Spirit is dealing with you the way it was dealing with Moshe, we letting you know now we're not fully following you. See, you got to learn how to listen in between the lines when you deal with Israel. See, you'll hear the loophole if you listen. Only let Yahweh be with you now. You understand what I'm saying to you? You understand? Let Yahweh be with you as he was with Moshe. You understand what I'm saying to you, right? All right? Yeah, we follow you. But I better believe that Yahweh with you. You understand? You turn left, Spirit better go left. You turn right, Spirit better go right. See, learn how to hit a loophole. Because Israel going to bring up that loophole as soon as they see something they don't like. And we watch that over and over with Moshe. Did you finish that?
Whosoever he be that does rebel against your commandment, and will not hearken unto your words in all that you command him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage.
So let's go to now chapter 4, Joshua chapter 4, and let's start that at verse 1.
And it came to pass, when all the people were clean, passed over Jordan, that Yahweh spake unto Yahshua, saying...
Now, you know, you have to look at this. In a lot of the documentaries that they will put out, they try to find a way to explain some of the miracles that are written in this book. Because, you know, you have to think about, out of all the other religious books of the world, you don't find situations. You find a lot of worship things in other books, but what you find in this Holy Bible has specific situations concerning a specific group of people. So what you'll find is a lot of times they try to do documentaries and try to figure out a natural way that the plagues could have came on Egypt. They figure out a natural way that the sea could depart, you know. They figure out a natural way because this gives them the opportunity to gainsay Yahweh just a little. And all they need to do is put just a little bit of doubt in your heart that this can't possibly happen. So they're going to present some natural way. You know, if the wind blow through here right during the time of an eclipse, you see, the water will pour it right up the middle for a second. You see? I watched the documentary. I was just sitting there like, wow. He's worked really hard to try and gainsay each one of the miracles that Yahweh has put forth to try to figure out a natural way. And I'm telling you something. If you learn how to hear and be careful how you hear what you hear, there was some really good scientific knowledge that I got out of that. Didn't sway my belief in it, but it was some really good information and what was had into that. But the thing about it is, I can't recommend that to somebody because I don't know where their understanding level is. Mm-hmm. See, I recommend that to somebody. And then a month later, I find out they don't even believe in the word no more. And guess who they gonna blame for that? Me. That's who.
Yeah, man, I was watching that documentary you gave me, man. It was deep, brother.
Yeah. So what you do now?
Oh, yeah, man, I just howl at the moon.
What? And you got that from me? You got howling at the moon from me? No, you didn't. But I don't howl at the moon. Yeah, but that documentary you gave me, man, it was so deep. See? I howl at the moon now because you gave me that documentary. So when you give somebody something and you really do have to consider if it's going to change somebody's viewpoint of the book. See, if it's something natural, I give you something natural. If it's something else that's dealing with the word, then I got to go in there and examine that and say, all right, minute 5 and second 13 to minute 8 and second 15, I'm cool with. Now, if you take the stuff after that and it ends up shaking your faith, I've already given you the disclaimer of the part that I'm talking about. But see, how often do we do that? See, that means it takes work for us, because we could have went into there, pulled out that little piece, and just sent them that piece and say, hey, this is the only part that I can speak for. I can't speak for anything else. Boom, you have already offered your disclaimer on that particular thing. Because what if that individual is teaching something really good in the front, and then toward the end, they say some mess that does not agree with Scripture? Understand? You don't agree with all that by handing it to them. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Take you 12 men out of the people, out of every tribe a man, and command you them, saying, Take you hence out of the midst of Jordan, out of the place where the priest's feet stood firm, 12 stones, and you shall carry them over with you, and leave them in the lodging place where you shall lodge this night. Then Joshua called the 12 men whom he had prepared of the children of Israel, out of every tribe a man. And Joshua said unto them, Pass over before the ark of Yahweh your Elohim into the midst of Jordan, and take you up every man of you a stone upon his shoulder, according unto the number of the tribes of the children of Israel.
So, understand, you had that thing, we will follow you, only let Yahweh be with you as he was with Moshe. Do you understand that now they're walking over the Jordan dry? They're walking through the Jordan. So what Yahweh does, I'm going to show y'all, respect my servant. I already know. What does it say? The Greeks seek after wisdom, but the children of Israel require a sign. It's his people he talking about. He talked to us about faith, but if we're requiring a sign, then that's the opposite of faith. Go ahead.
That this may be a sign among you, that when your children...
Then he say it may be a sign. So when it is written that the children of Israel require a sign, he already know what manner of people he was dealing with. Go ahead.
That this may be a sign among you, that when your children ask their fathers in time to come, saying, What mean you by these stones?
He said, and your kids will ask you. Brother Mikael was over here before the altar. while we was taking part in the body and the blood of Yahshua, and his little girl kept coming by the door. What Daddy doing? Daddy, what? It took two people to hold her back. What Daddy doing? Daddy, what Daddy doing? Why he down there? Daddy, we back here just laughing. One person grabbed her. She like, no, let go of my hand. What my daddy doing? Oh no. Well, see, what's happening? They learning culture. They learning some things. What are you doing over there? He in front of the altar. What is that? That's gonna be stuck there. And if you don't think it's gonna be stuck there, trust me, I done some wrong before. And my kid said, and I was telling my kid, hey, don't do this. My kid said, well, what about that time you did such and such, and you had that red shirt on? I said, what? You remember that? Me and your mama was going through some issues. Yeah. Hey, you think they don't remember? They remember. They may not remember all of it. But he remember enough to know I had on that red shirt. I tell you that. Go ahead, bro.
Then you shall answer them that the waters of Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, when it passed over Jordan. The waters of Jordan were cut off, and these stones shall be for a memorial unto the children of Israel forever. And the children of Israel did so as Yahshua commanded, and took up 12 stones out of the midst of Jordan, as Yahweh spake unto Yahshua.
Right. Hey, y'all pass by, going down the street. Y'all ain't passed them 12 stone churches?
Mm-hmm.
Now you understand where they getting that from? They everywhere. Every time you turn around, you be like, there go another one. Okay?
You ever paid attention to what it says, though? 12 stones, but only one matters.
Interesting. Now, I'm normally, you know what I'm saying? I can't read that much. I'll be like, 12 stones. I ain't never slowed down. I just noticed that part of it. I was like, wait a minute. The last one I saw wasn't over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw one over here on this side of town. So, interesting. So only one matters, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's deep right there. That's a gross misapplication of what's written. But hey, that's us though. We'll do the same thing. It's 12 tribes of Israel, but we all want to be Judah. Then you even get them fools on TV. Yeah, this lion on my neck is for the 12 tribes of Judah. They should have shut the camera off on this idiot. How you gonna have 12 tribes of Judah, man? Go ahead, brother.
According to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, and carried them over with them onto the place where they lodged, and laid them down there. And Yahshua set up 12 stones in the midst of Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priests which bear the ark of the covenant stood, and they are there unto this day. For the priests which bear the ark stood in the midst of Jordan, until everything was finished that Yahweh commanded Yahshua to speak unto the people, according to all that Moshe commanded Yahshua. And the people hasted and passed over. And it came to pass, when all the people were clean passed over, that the ark of Yahweh passed over, and the priest in the presence of the people. And the children of Reuben, and the children of Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh, passed over armed before the children of Israel, as Moshe spake unto them. About 40,000 prepared for war passed over before Yahweh unto battle, to the plains of Jericho. On that day Yahweh magnified Yahshua in the sight of all Israel.
All right. So what he did was he showed them his power so they would learn to fear him. Go ahead.
And they feared him, as they feared Moshe all the days of his life.
Right. But what if Yahweh didn't do that? What if he didn't do it? Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Yahshua, saying, Command the priests that bear the ark of the testimony, that they come up out of Jordan. Yahshua therefore commanded the priests, saying, Come you up out of Jordan. And it came to pass, when the priests that bare the ark of the covenant of Yahweh were come up out of the midst of Jordan, and the soles of the priests' feet were lifted up onto the dry land, that the waters of Jordan returned onto their place, and flowed over all his banks, as they did before.
And this is the stuff that all the Hollywood movies are made of. This is what the Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark was about. The power of the things that belong to Yahweh were able to do other things in the earth. So then they wanted to go and steal all of the things that belonged unto Yahweh and have it unto themselves because, hey, they'll be able to do miraculous things with it. That's what the whole series was about. I loved watching those movies. I didn't understand exactly what I was watching. But then you get back in this book and it makes sense. They want to possess certain articles of Yahweh and then use them for natural things. Go ahead.
And the people came up out of Jordan on the 10th day of the first month and encamped in Gilgal in the east border of Jericho. And those 12 stones which they took out of Jordan did Joshua pitch in Gilgal. And he spake unto the children of Israel, saying, When your children shall ask their fathers in time to come, saying, What mean these stones? Then you shall let your children know, saying, Israel came over this Jordan on dry land.
Right. And a lot of times we don't really deal with that part of having the waters cut off. We always deal with the one situation that happened with Moshe. We never deal with this situation. So people spend all of their time trying to gainsay the situation of what happened with Moshe walking through this wall of water. But then Yahweh turned around and did the same thing with Joshua. Go ahead.
For Yahweh your El dried up the waters of Jordan from before you, until you were passed over, as Yahweh your El did to the Red Sea, which he dried up from before us, until we were gone over, that all the people of the earth might know the hand of Yahweh, that it is mighty, that you might fear Yahweh your El forever.
All right, jump to chapter 11. Now, when you talk about before, we even get into any of those other things, you have to consider how Yahweh does some things. 11, and let's read verses 18 through 20.
Joshua made war a long time with all those kings.
So it was Joshua's job to go in and go and possess those things that Moshe talked about. Go ahead.
There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All other they took in battle.
All right, so only one group of people made peace with Israel. All the others they had to fight. Read.
For it was of Yahweh to harden their hearts.
Stop. Yahweh decided who was going to be destroyed by how they came at Israel. There wasn't nobody floating down giving a prophecy. You gonna know because they gonna come and try to punch you in your face. It's real easy to figure out who to fight when they punch you in your face. You ain't got to pray, Yahweh, is this who you want me to fight? Oh, you gonna figure it out. Watch this. It wasn't hard to figure out. Keep reading.
That they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly.
Right. So Yahweh is deciding and letting you know which ones to deal with by how they come at you. Go ahead.
And that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them, as Yahweh commanded Moshe.
Now, here's the issue. Do y'all remember the situation of the Hivites and how they were given peace?
Mm-hmm.
Because see, we all the time looking for some miraculous stuff. We don't look for regular, everyday things that happen in our lives. These are the people. Go ahead, bro.
Was it with that sister that when they came to spy the land?
What you think, bro?
Lied that they came from a foreign nation.
You got it. When they came and lied. They came and lied and said, we be of a people from a far nation. Now, why would Yahweh even let that happen? Because Yahweh get to deal with two things. He get to deal with them, and he get to deal with you. Because you then enter into a covenant, then Yahweh gonna see what you gonna do with that covenant. Yahweh dealing with two things. See, this is what happens when every time something happens, we think, yeah, Yahweh dealing with Ethan. Wait a minute. He ain't just dealing with Ethan. He dealing with 2, 3 other people around Ethan. But see, when all you looking at is that particular thing, you ain't looking at the part that's got something to do with you. So he let them come in. They pretend like they're a group of people. Israel enters into a covenant. Then they find out that they lied. Oh, man. Now, you got a schism in between Israel. All right. We have made a covenant with these people. See, servants of Yahweh respect covenants. Servants of Mammon don't respect covenants. That's why it says the marriage bed is undefiled, but whoremongers will I judge. Whoremonger don't respect covenant. Whoremonger don't care nothing about a covenant. Whoremonger jump from place to place to place. He don't respect covenant. Yahweh's servants is going to deal with covenants. So he puts them in a situation and sees how they're going to deal with that covenant. All right, you got tricked into entering into a covenant. Let's see what you're going to do with it. And do understand, it was some negotiation. Because they had to say, hey, we agreed with them. We swore by the princes that we was not going to do anything to them. So we have to keep what we said. They claimed that they were the servants, so let us deal with them like that. They shall forever be servants unto us. But we can't hurt these people. Come to figure out, that was Yahweh choosing that those people must stay among them. Now, if you one of those that's waiting on Yahweh to float down and tell you something, you about to have you some issues. You about to have you some problems, because Yahweh ain't finna float down here and tell you everything. He gonna wait for you to refer back to his word. You gonna back out of your covenant? Right. Let's go to back up to chapter 6. But see, you don't get that if you just read that situation and move on. You understand? You got to go somewhere else to find out, well, look at here. Yahweh was in this situation. Because you have to ask yourself, these people are blessed of Yahweh. How would they trick so easy? Because Yahweh wanted them to be tricked. There's certain situations that Yahweh going to hide from you. He don't want you to see it right away. Yahshua knew exactly who Judas was, right? He didn't tell nobody. Why? Because he didn't want them to stop it. No, don't stop this. This need to happen. Let this go down. Joshua chapter 6, and let's start that at verse 12.
And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priest took up the ark of Yahweh. And 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram horns before the ark of Yahweh went on continually, and blew with the trumpets, and the armed men went before them. But the rearward came after the ark of Yah, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And the second day they compassed the city once, and returned into the camp. So they did 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priest blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for Yahweh has given you the city.
Now, understand, before he told them, don't say a word. Y'all know how hard it is to tell Israel not to talk. While we're sitting here taking the body and the blood, y'all know how many conversations we heard behind this wall? From time to time, people got to go in there. Shh. Imagine being outside marching all the way around the city, but you're not supposed to talk. Oh, that was difficult for Israel. Because y'all know, even when we say something, you know, we'll talk and say, oh, no, I wasn't saying nothing. Bruh, you talking. No, I was just telling Kish. You see how even in our explanation, it testifies against us? No, I wasn't talking. I was just telling Kish, you know what I'm saying, that it was a rock right there to step over the rock. So how you tell him that without talking? Did you do sign language? Did you? No, you opened your mouth and you told him, right? So that means you were talking. Why we something else? This right here was not an easy thing for Israel. To get a bunch of men together and not talk. March, don't talk. Do it again. March, don't talk. Do it again. March, don't talk. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 17. And the city shall be accursed, even in it, and all that are therein, to Yah. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are in her house, because she hid the messengers that we sent.
Right. So doing right by Israel even overrides the lifestyle that she's living. Need you to rattle that around for a second. So there are levels of things and how we deal with things. This is a harlot. Understand, it's written. It says the publicans and the harlots go to the kingdom before you. Now, how the hell is that? How do a publican and a harlot go to the kingdom before those people who know the word of Yahweh and understand the word of Yahweh? How would the publicans and the harlots get in the kingdom before you? Now, here's the harlot who's going to save her whole house. How is it that this is who he picks out of the house, out of this land? You can't tell me that was the nicest person. This was the best people in the land. But she did the best deed. She protected Israel. See, Yahweh says whoever harms you harms the apple of his eye. Now, how that gets interesting is when we get to the point of being the apple of his eye, that we believe we can still harm the apple of his eye. So then when we get to something like that, we got to put forth the law. All right, Yahweh knows how to judge between cattle and cattle. Let's set this law aside and let's go ahead and judge this situation. Because apparently how you deal with Israel has a great effect on your salvation. But what does it say? All the nations will be blessed through you. So how is it that it can't, it doesn't matter how you are treated? Even when our folks went into captivity, even when Yaakov, Laban did all them things, he said, look, man, I know that because you are here, I've been blessed. So I'm going to do whatever I can to keep you here. Whatever foul manner he could do, he kept him there, and the blessing kept coming because he was there. Go ahead.
And you, in any wise, keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest you make yourselves accursed when you take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel a curse and trouble it.
So understand something. There's warning there giving unto Israel. And you in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest you make yourselves accursed. So when you take something and deal with it the wrong way, now you become a curse with the thing. Go ahead.
But all the silver and all the gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto Yah. They shall come into the treasury of Yah.
Right. So Yahweh has a design purpose for this thing. Go ahead.
So the people shouted when the priest blew with the trumpets. And it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great voice, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass, with the edge of the sword.
Are you about that action? See, a lot of us read the situations from an external point of view. And they utterly destroy all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old. Do you have it in you? Because see, the little baby that you leave alive will be the one that grows into a warrior and leads an army to come and invade your sons. Go ahead.
But Yahshua had said unto the two men that had spied out the country, Go into the harlot's house, and bring out thence the woman, and all that she has, as you swore unto her.
Wait a minute. So what's happening? Yahweh is respecting the covenant that his people made. Once he gives somebody a charge, they have the power to enter into that charge. And everything that they orchestrate within that charge is bound unto Yahweh. You made an agreement with them people? Go get them. We ain't gonna fully destroy this place until you go get who you entered into a covenant with. Go ahead.
And the young men that were spies went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brethren and all that she had. And they brought out all her kindred and left them without the camp of Israel. And they burnt the city with fire and all that was therein. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and of iron they put into the treasury of the house of Yah. And Yahshua saved Rahab the harlot alive, and her father's household, and all that she had. And she dwelt in Israel even unto this day, because she hid the messengers which Yahshua sent to spy out Jericho. And Yahshua adjured them at that time, saying, Cursed be the man before Yahweh that riseth up and builds this city Jericho. He shall lay the foundation thereof in his firstborn, and in his youngest son shall he set up the gates of it. So Yahweh was with Yahshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country.
Right. So as Yahweh is doing these things, then the children of Israel are beginning to understand that Yahweh is with Yahshua. Now, you have that warning in verse 18. And you in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest you make yourselves accursed when you take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel accursed and trouble it. So once something is dealt with outside of what Yahweh has designed it for, that thing then becomes a curse, but it doesn't just curse the individual. Matter of fact, you're going to find that it curses the individual around that individual more than it curses that person. Keep going, chapter 7 and verse 1.
But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehudah, took of the accursed thing.
Okay, you notice the beginning of this, but the children of Israel committed a trespass. Wait a minute, what? No. You mean Achan committed something about the cursed thing? No. He began, but the children of Israel. So all of them about to deal with this. Not just the individual that did it. See, you have to learn how Yahweh looks at things. You even anywhere near some unrighteousness, he dealing with everybody involved. Go ahead.
And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against the children of Israel.
I'm sorry. The anger of Yahweh was kindled against who?
Israel.
Okay. But did they get together and decide he was going to be the captain of accursed things? How did they get involved in this mess? Go ahead.
And Yahshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth Aven, on the east side of Beth El, and spake unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Yahshua and said unto him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither, for they are but few.
I mean, why? You just watched your Elohim defeat a whole land by marching around it. Why would you need a bunch of weapons and people to go up against this little bitty group of people after all y'all did was blow the trumpets and they whole defenses fell down? But it shows you what happens when the favor of Yahweh turns its back. Grant?
So there went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai smote of them about 36 men, For they chased them from before the gate even unto Shebarim, and smote them in the going down, whereof the hearts of the people melted and became as water.
Right, because you know, and then like a loss to get that heart bubbling. You know, get them heartstrings pulled on. Now Israel done suffered the L of a little bitty town, but done destroyed a big one, and then go to a little one and lose. Go ahead.
And Joshua rent his clothes, and fell to the earth upon his face before the ark of Yahweh until the eventide, he and the elders of Israel, and put dust upon their heads. And Joshua said, Alas, O Adonai, wherefore have you at all brought this people over Jordan?
Now, you have to see what's happening here and why Yahweh does get upset. Because at this point, now that they suffered loss, he now questions the direction of Yahweh. Hey, Yahweh, you must have made a mistake. You know, having us go over, Jordan, we could have stayed over here. We would have been fine over there. Yahweh, why you do this thing? Now it's Yahweh's fault. Now you understand why Yahweh get a little angry. Yahweh said, man, wait a minute, I entered into a covenant about this. I done promised this to generations before you. Now you questioning my direction because something didn't happen right with you? Maybe you should examine the situation around you and figure out why something didn't happen right with you. Instead of blaming that on Yahweh's direction. Go ahead.
To deliver us into the hands of the Amorites, to destroy us. Would to Elohim we had been content and dwelt on the other side Jordan.
If he dwelt on the other side of Jordan, he would have been disobedient. Now he's contemplating disobedience because something didn't work out right. But he's not considering what has attached itself to his camp. Go ahead.
You know, that's the danger of falling down to prayer and praying the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you put everybody into it instead of just asking a simple question, okay, Yahweh, what's going on? What went wrong?
Uh-huh.
And like you said, now you questioning, you brought us over here to die.
Right.
No, just ask the question and leave that out of it.
You not made accusations against Yahweh at this point. Would you, Elohim, we'd have stayed on the other side of Jordan. Why did you bring us over here? Excuse me, little boy. What you say? What you say, little boy? You gotta see how Yahweh gets ticked off at this point. You gotta be playing with me right now. Now I can't see what's going on. Go ahead.
And you know, that's also that mindset that Israel had coming from out of Egypt. That's that same thing. Why'd you bring us out here?
You got
it. And here he
as soon as something don't work out what they want, it don't work out in their time the way they want it, now Yahweh is to blame. And if they can't find Yahweh, they'll blame the closest leader. Where is Moshe? We got something to tell him with his glowing self. Go ahead.
O Adonai, what shall I say when Israel turns their backs before their enemies? For the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land shall hear of it, and shall environ us around, and cut off our name from the earth. And what will you do unto your great name?
Now, this part was ingenious. Now, pay attention. Now, when you get into a situation, he then takes it away. He goes a little too personal first, all right? But then he backs up, all right? Now he makes that thing about Yahweh's great name. See, this is where Yahweh puts his power behind his name. So this is why he says, you go to the place where I have chosen to place my name there. So anytime you're doing something, you want to make sure Yahweh's name is out front. See, your name got to be in the back. See, we don't consider that. We don't think that matters. Oh, it does to my Elohim. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Yahshua, Get you up. Wherefore lieth you thus upon your face? Israel has sinned.
Oh, and look at the power in which he's saying. Yahweh said unto Yahshua, Get you up. Wherefore lieth you on your face? What you lying down for? You don't know what's happening? You out here questioning me? You should have been questioning them. Israel has sinned. Go ahead.
And they have also transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have also stolen.
Now, why he say they stole it? He said they've taken of the accursed thing. They have even taken it, and they have also stolen. Go ahead.
And disassembled
So
also.
they disassembled. They took it apart. Go ahead.
And they have put it even among their own stuff.
They put it among their own stuff. So they done took holy things, mingled it among regular things, and think that it's all good. Man, you have to look at something to see how Yahweh look at it. It don't mean a hill of beans how man look at something. You can think whatever you want to think. You better learn to look at things how Yahweh look at things. At least Yahweh end up dealing with you and you won't even know why he dealing with you. Go ahead.
Therefore the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs.
He took his power away from them. He took his power away from them because they have now allowed some things to come into their possession that was not its original intent. I don't know what folk be reading. I remember my elder going on and on. There was a brother there that was the producer of a show, and he took a show. One of them was called Sign of the Times. Because he was the producer, he got into it with elder. He took Signs of the Times and took it away from the church. There was another dude who was there who was going to be the next in line under elder. Had a show called Heal Israel. Got into it with elder because he was the producer. He took the whole show. Each time, elder had to produce another show. What he did on that third time, everybody came up with, make sure the elder is the producer, because people don't understand what belongs to Yahweh and what does not belong to men. That's what he did for every show after that. But before, he was trusting people to do what they had entered into covenant to do. But he stopped doing that. Go ahead.
But turned their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you anymore, except you destroy the accursed from among you.
Neither will I be with you. You gonna take care of this business, or you gonna forever stay accursed. Man, Yahweh ain't playing. You gonna be accursed forever unless you take care of this business. Now, did Yahshua steal something? I'm sorry, anybody back up. Did Yahshua steal or take or disassemble anything? But somebody among him did. And Yahweh said, I'm not dealing with you anymore until you take care of that business. Yahshua ain't took nothing. Yahshua ain't stole nothing. He ain't disassembled nothing. He ain't hid nothing among his stuff. But somebody near him did. Go ahead.
Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. For thus says the Adonai Yahweh of Israel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of you, O Israel. You cannot stand before your enemies until you take away the accursed thing from among you. In the morning, therefore, you shall be brought according to your tribes, and it shall be that the tribe which Yahweh takes shall come according to the families thereof, and the family which Yahweh shall come by households, and the household which Yahweh shall take shall come man by man. And it shall be that he that is taken with the accursed thing shall be burnt with fire.
Whoa. Hold on. Okay, so normally when judgment is entered, the law was made and carved in stone. So what happens is those individuals are stoned for judgment. The accursed thing is they get set on fire. Hold on, that's a different kind of judgment. I be wondering about those people who say, and I got family members that say, when they get buried, they want to get cremated. I'm not having any part in that one right there. I don't want to get burned at no time, at no place, at any time. Whether I'm dead, whether I'm alive, I want no part of fire. You understand what I'm saying? This is the ultimate judgment of Yahweh. I want no part of that. So you have, because other people have done burial. Yahweh showed us how we're supposed to do burial. From the ground you was taken, from the ground you shall return. That whole burning thing, miss me with that.
I'm going to have my body cremated, and they're going to spread my ashes all over the seas.
Yeah, and when it's time for judgment, Yahweh going to send one of them angels in there in that water and get every piece of you out that water and put you back together so you can stand for judgment. You might be a little dusty and a little damp, but that's all right. It's going to be hard to be dusty and damp, but Yahweh going to make it happen. He going to put you back together so you can face judgment. From the ground you were taken, from the ground you are supposed to return. What the hell we get this setting on fire thing? Because we watch the Euro Gentiles do it. It's a chic thing. They put the body on a piece of wood, set it on fire, and push it out in the ocean. Man, that's not the manner of the way the children of Israel are taught to do burial. But see, we want to be chic. It's feng shui. Yeah. My burial going to be off the chain, bruh. Yeah, I'm going to have singing and dancing. Gonna be about to be a big old fire. No, thank you. Miss me with that. Go ahead, bro.
He and all that he has, because he has transgressed the covenant of Yahweh, and because he has wrought folly in Israel.
He has transgressed the covenant. Yahweh is all about covenants. See, when you make an agreement with something, and then you break that agreement, let me tell you something. Yahweh, it says, all liars shall have the part that burns with fire and brimstone. Once again, fire. All liars. There's certain things you need to know to stay away from. Go ahead.
So Yahshua rose up early in the morning and brought Israel by their tribes, and the tribe of Yehudah was taken. And he brought the family of Yehudah, and he took the family of the Zarhites. And he brought the family of the Zarhites, man by man, and Zabdi was taken. And he brought his household man by man. And Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehudah, was taken. And Yahshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray you, glory to Yahweh El of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what you have done. Hide it not from me. And Achan answered Yahshua and said, indeed I have sinned against Yahweh El of Israel, and thus have I done. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them and took them.
Right, it was in my power to do. I saw the stuff near. We were going to throw it away anyway, Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could do better stuff with that. Go ahead.
Well, the biggest transgression is the silver and gold was supposed to go in a specific place.
Supposed to go to the treasury. See? See, then you understand why Yahweh said, oh no, you stole it. That was my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You took my stuff. But wait a minute, this is an Israelite though, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought all Israel could have all the Israel stuff, right? See what Yahweh say about it. Go ahead.
And behold, there hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it.
Right, right. He's even mingled it among his own stuff. Go ahead.
So Yahshua sent messengers, and they ran onto the tent, and behold, it was hid in his tent, and the silver under it. And they took them out of the midst of the tent, and brought them onto Yahshua, and onto all the children of Israel, and laid them out before Yahweh. And Yahshua and all Israel with him took Achan the son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold,
Listen.
and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen.
What the ox do? What did the ox do, man? The oxen on them. They go, hey, what? Where we going? Man, he ain't talked to us for, hey, Yahweh, can I talk to you for a second? What had to do with us? Go ahead.
And his asses, and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had.
The sheep, bro. The sheep. Go ahead.
Hey, they pulled down his dwelling place too.
Hey, man. Hey, you know the sheep is pissed, man. Go ahead.
And all that he had, and they brought them onto the valley of Achor. And Yahshua said, why have you troubled us? Yahweh shall trouble you this day. And all Israel stoned them with stones and burnt them with fire after they had stoned them with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones unto this day. So Yahweh turned from the fierceness of his anger. Wherefore the name of that place was called the Valley of Achor unto this day.
Brother, let me tell you something. After reading this, I am going to make sure I divide and make sure I separate all the things of Yahweh, I mean meticulously, with the offerings, the everything. This right here gave me a whole new outlook on things. And you know how sometimes you read something and it deal with you on one level, but you go back and read it again after situation and circumstance, it deal with you again. Brother, I'm rearranging the whole financial structure of this church after this right now. Go ahead, bro.
You know, even in this punishment they took it a step where Yahweh didn't even tell them to go. Yahweh said that when you find them, they should be burnt. They stoned them. And then burnt them.
Yeah. Hey, man. But everybody got their own perspective on how they see things. But I tell you what, after you get a stoning and a burning, you ain't seeing nothing. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Let's go to Numbers chapter 5. That's going to take care of that business.
Numbers chapter 5 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel that they put out of the camp every leper and every one that has an issue, and whosoever is defiled by the dead. Both male and female shall you put out. Without the camp shall you put them, that they defile not their camps, in the midst whereof I dwell.
So you have this thing, and understand our people were real strong about clean and unclean, especially during these times, that once something is unclean, it defiles the entire camp. So you have to take that into consideration, that the children of Israel were already given these instructions before that situation happened with Joshua. Okay? Before Achan stole this thing and there made everybody in his circle accursed. Everybody. Family, everything. I mean, imagine your dog get set on fire. I mean, you know what the dog do? So consider how Yahweh looks at things. So now he's setting this thing up so that when there's some uncleanness, there must be some separation. All right, go ahead.
And the children of Israel did so, and put them out without the camp. As Yahweh spake unto Moshe, so did the children of Israel.
Now, understand something now. You know, we read this and it sounds as a matter of fact. But that means that was somebody's daughter. It was somebody's son. What happened when people start feeling some kind of way? See, this is what makes people grab on to a idea and latch on to it. Because, well, you know, my daughter or my son has an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show favoritism to these people over here who have an issue, because I don't want nobody to deal with my son or daughter with an issue. Understand, Yahweh coming through. Every leper, all of that, put outside the camp. Now you got some problems there. Don't think that everybody was just okay with this. You got folk that's like, hey man, and my folk you putting out right there. Take it up with Yahweh. Your problem ain't with me. Your problem is with him that sent me. I ain't make the rules. I'm just following them. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, when a man or woman shall commit any sin that men commit, to do a trespass against Yah, and that person be guilty, then they shall confess their sin which they have done.
Which is the hardest thing for us to do. Sometimes the whole altercation can be over. Hey man, look, I dealt with that wrong. I said some things I shouldn't have said. Let me go to those people whom I said that to and apologize. Would that make this right? Boom, it'll be over. We can't do that. Too much pride. Go ahead.
You know, even with that, it says, then they shall confess their sin which they have done.
Uh-huh.
He's speaking this to Moshe. But we just see that that's what Yahshua did when he spoke to Achan. Achan, what have you done? It made him confess his sin. Yeah, Yahshua knows what to do. Why? Because he's here when this is being told to Moshe.
Right. He was being trained, being a minister, being a servant. He was also being trained as a leader while he was serving this other man. See, before you get to serve Yahweh, you got to serve the man next to the man. Go ahead.
And he shall recompense his trespass with the principal thereof, and add unto it the fifth part thereof, and give it unto him against whom he has trespassed.
Right. You can't just give them people back the stuff that you took. If you took their good name, then you got to offer that back. But you got to figure out a way to offer that better than what it was when you took it. See, that's something that we don't consider. Otherwise, Yahweh does not grant you forgiveness. He has rules and regulations in here on how you're supposed to restore something. So what we do is we say something publicly, but then we give a private apology. No. You said that to 20 different people. You apologize behind the rock, down the hill, over against the tree, under the stump, down there at the bottom of that hill. Ain't nobody hear that apology but that dude. What about them 20 people you said that to? Right. Go ahead.
You know, even in the things that we do, because, you know, it says you add thereunto and give the fifth part. But in Achan's situation, you stole from Yahweh. What you gonna give back to Yahweh?
Right. You try to explain things to folk, but when everybody think they have their perspective, how you recompense Yahweh? Everything on the earth belongs to him. And what we may look at as a little thing, Yahweh like, oh, I'm on my way. Go ahead.
But if the man have no kinsman to recompense the trespass unto, let the trespass be recompensed unto Yah, even to the priest, beside the ram of the atonement, whereby an atonement shall be made for him. And every offering of all the holy things of the children of Israel, which they bring unto the priest, shall be his. And every man's hallowed things shall be his. Whatsoever any man gives the priest, it shall be his.
All right, let's go to Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12, and let's read verse 1 and put a marker there in your book, because we're going to have to leave and come back. Numbers 12 and verse 1.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman.
So now you have to consider how this looks to the children of Israel. First of all, it looks like Moshe may be operating in hypocrisy. He has told them that they have to marry within their tribes, and then here he marries this Ethiopian woman. So then you gotta look at that. But what we first have to do is break that down, because I've seen several people deal with this. I've seen some sisters deal with this in their teaching, and they make the wrong woman the Ethiopian woman. And sometimes, and I've seen some brothers do it too, but you kind of have to figure out, okay, so what is the angle there that ends up coming out of that? And several wrong things ends up coming out of this. First of all, read the definition here for, go to the next graphic.
Ethiopian, H3571, Cushite. Feminine of H3569, a Cushite woman, Ethiopian.
All right, so hold your place there, and let's go to Genesis chapter 10. So Yahweh will put you in some difficult situations. He's not going to save you from everything, because he needs to see what you're going to do. Genesis chapter 10, and let's read verses 6 through 10.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Phut and Canaan.
Okay, so Ham, this is one of the seeds of Noah, and the sons of Ham, Cush. So we see that this lineage of where this this individual comes from. Keep going.
And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Raamah, and Sabteca, and the sons of Raamah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before Yah. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar.
Right, Shinar is Babel. So then we have verse 8, Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one on the earth. If you go back 6, and the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. Understand, Israel was called Canaan land. All right, go to the next graphic.
Ham. Ham signifies burnt or black. And this name was peculiarly significant of the regions allotted to his family. To the Cushites,
Or Ethiopians. Go ahead.
or descendants of Cush, were allotted the hot southern regions of Asia along the shores of the Persian Gulf, Susian or Cushistan, etc. The sons of Canaan, Palestine, and Syria.
Do we even consider that black people come from Syria? Because we watch modern migrations of individuals. We don't consider, we see Syria, we see a different group of people. See? So understand what's happening here. Go ahead.
To the sons of Mizraim, Egypt, and Libya in Africa.
So then when you deal with Cush and you deal with Mizraim, look at what happens here in verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan, all that is Egypt. So you're dealing with an Egyptian when you deal with this whole part of Ethiopia during that time. So now let's go to Exodus chapter 2. Because it said that he married an Ethiopian woman. You have to understand that what he married then was an Egyptian, who are the people who they're trying to get away from. But what they do is make Zipporah, the woman that he married in Midian, they make her the Ethiopian. Which, how disrespectful is that? The man was out there 40 years. How you gonna have the nerve to talk about who he come back with after being gone for 40 years? Are you kidding me? Exodus chapter 2, and let's start reading at verse 15.
Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moshe stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. And when they came to Ruel, their father, he said, "How is it that you're come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds."
Right. They think Moshe is an Egyptian. He looks like an Egyptian. He has on all Egyptian clothing. Go ahead.
Also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, "And where is he? Why is it that you have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread." And Moshe was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moshe Zipporah his daughter. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, "I have been a stranger in a strange land."
I have been a stranger in a strange land. Now here it is. This man has been forced out. How disrespectful would it be for his sister to say, "You shouldn't have married this woman," after he's been a fugitive for all them years? See, that don't even make sense. But see, this gives us an opportunity to cast away certain things. Go ahead.
That was it, verse.
That was it right there?
Mm-hmm.
Read the next graphic, because we need to see who Midian is.
From H4080, Midian. The same as H4079, Midian, a son of Abraham. Also his country and collectively his descendants. Midian, Midianite.
So, if he went to Midian, those ain't the same group of people. That's a whole different seed from Ham. He sent him to the sons of Abraham. So now, let's go and look at something else. Because people start saying this mess about, well, no, that was the same woman. That ain't the same woman. See, that get people a problem so they can say something against multiple marriage, but it also, people teach this thing where he's learning how to be a priest from some Egyptians. No, the hell he ain't. Go to Genesis chapter 25. He ain't learned how to be no priest from no damn Egyptians.
Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah.
Uh-huh.
And she bare him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian. And
I'm sorry, who?
Midian.
I'm sorry, read that again.
And she bare him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua.
Right. So these are the sons of Abraham that he then ran into. He gave him a wife of the daughters of the sons of Abraham. That's who he got first. See, folks be dealing with 3-4 different things out of context. Now let's go back to Numbers 12. See, now you can read that with understanding.
Numbers chapter 12.
And start back at verse 1.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman.
So then you understand it ain't talking about Zipporah. He come back with Zipporah and got 2 kids. That ain't who it's talking about. And do understand, it ain't, Zipporah ain't no Egyptian, and her daddy didn't help teach him how to be no priest. He sent him to the sons of Abraham to learn that. Go ahead, bro.
And they said, has Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moshe?
Uh-huh.
Has he not
Now see, here we go. Here we go. You scared to start? Don't start. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Has he not spoken also by us?
He was a little shaky right there. He was a little shaky right. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
And Yahweh heard it. Now the man Moshe was very meek.
Hey, look, he was very meek. Every time Yahweh made a change in Moshe's life, he accepted it and rolled with it. And these weren't no easy changes. So how you gonna come? See, and that's that thing. When we speaking out against something, you don't know what that person done did in their life before they got here. You don't know what things Yahweh is recompensing them for that they had to deal with long time down the road. He might have ran off and left this Ethiopian woman. He was 40 years old. You think he ain't never been with no woman that 40? Go ahead, bro.
Above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moshe, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam. Come out, you 3, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they 3 came out. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I Yahweh will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moshe is not so, who is faithful in all my house.
He is faithful in all my house. I done sent this man through hell. Y'all ain't been through nothing. Y'all been in the same place. And every time I send this man to go do something, to go through another change in his life, he dealt with it. So who are y'all to speak against him? Go ahead.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of Yah shall he behold. Wherefore then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe?
Why is it you wasn't afraid to speak? Once again, we make things of Yahweh on an equal playing field with regular stuff. Go ahead.
And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And, behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
Now, wait a minute. He put in Numbers 5, put out all lepers, right? So you got to see how Yahweh starts setting up situations. All right? Put out all lepers from the camp. Then let her go ahead and run off at the mouth. Then he made her leprous. We already done gave you the rules. What's the problem? we gave you the rules, then we gave you the rules. Why she still standing there? Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go right now, gotta go. See, he put the law there first about casting out all lepers, then let her run off at the mouth, then let her skin turn. Out. Go ahead.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moshe, Alas, my master, I beseech you, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
Now, you understand, he's saying we, but Yahweh dealing with her. So Yahweh know who the ringleader is. So Aaron was up in it too. Aaron that got convinced. Yahweh like, no. See, this ain't the first time this right here done happened. Because it was some situation that was said, we all holy. Every one of us. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he comes out of his mother's womb.
Right. But at the end of the day, Yahweh had to deal with that situation. Keep reading.
And Moshe cried unto Yahweh, saying, Heal her now, O Elohim, I beseech you. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days?
Right. He said, no, she's going to have to bear some shame for the things that has happened. No, I ain't going to let you cover this one. Go ahead.
Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received in again.
Right. This is still the glory of Yahweh. I'm going to let this situation be dealt with, but if she's able to humble herself, she coming back. I ain't cutting her out forever, but she need to know. Go ahead.
And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in the camp. And afterward the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13, and let's start at verse 53.
Verse 53. And it came to pass that when Yahshua had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, Whence has this man this wisdom and these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son?
It's not this the carpenter's son. They are offended. See, they want him to be somebody that's got many degrees or something like that. They want him to be somebody else. It's hard for them to respect. Didn't that dude make my table, man? Bro, I'm not finna listen to no word from this dude, man. That's a table maker. I'm not gonna be able to hear that. See, this is how Yahweh deals with the hearts of men. Go ahead.
Is not his mother called Miriam, and his brethren, Jacob and Joses and Simeon and Yehudis? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things?
Right. They have a problem that he knows these things. But here's the thing. This is what is supposed to happen if you are indeed entertaining one of the spirits of Yahweh. There should be a change in your talk. There should be a change in your walk. You should be able to do some things that you couldn't do before. If indeed the spirit has come among you. Go ahead.
And they were offended in him. But Yahshua said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house.
And in his own house. As my elder used to say, familiarity breeds contempt. Go ahead.
And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief.
Their unbelief limited the works that he could do among them. And this is something that the children of Israel had to reshape their minds in dealing with over and over again. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms 81. And we're going to read that through chapter 82 and verse 8.
Sing aloud unto Elohim our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the El of Jacob. Take a psalm, and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel, and a law of the El of Jacob. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony, when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed his shoulder from the burden, his hands were delivered from the pots. You calleth in trouble, and I delivered you. I answered you in the secret place of thunder. I proved you at the waters of Meribah. Hear, O my people, and I'll testify unto you. O Israel, if you will hearken unto me. There shall no strange God be in you, neither shall you worship any strange God. I am Yahweh your El, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me.
But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. My people would not hearken to my voice. It wasn't Yahweh that was talking. Yahweh sent his word to his servants. And servants serve. They don't serve just in the convenient part of servitude. See, they serve when it's inconvenient too. Go ahead.
So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I should soon have subdued their enemies, and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of Yahweh should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever. He should have fed them also with the finest of the wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied you. Elohim stands in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?
Check that out. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? We accept them because they are friends. But Yahweh gave us a just law. Does judgment change if it's somebody that you like? Does judgment change because it's somebody in your family? Go ahead.
Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, you are gods, and all of your children of the Most High. But you shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O Elohim, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all nations.
And if we do the things that we are supposed to do, Israel is supposed to be his representatives here on earth. So all of those things that belong unto Yahweh are supposed to be part of our inheritance. But we can't inherit those things based upon what we think, feel, and believe. We have to inherit those things according to the holy law that he has given unto his people Israel. Those are the things that the earth is going to be governed by. We can't govern the earth by a movable set of instructions. That it's okay in this land, but it's not okay in that land. It's okay at the top of the hill, but it ain't okay at the bottom of the hill. We have to deal with what thus says Yahweh, and that same standard has to be there no matter who it is. And if we can't do that, we cannot call ourselves servants of Yahweh. You got to be able to do that, even when it's the closest individual to you. Can you righteously still apply Yahweh's law? Otherwise, how are we going to judge angels? If you can't even righteously judge your brother sitting in the seat next to you. That's all that we're going to do for today. Understand, we are going to celebrate our first day of unleavened bread. And after that, we will do the Feast of First Fruits. So our brothers, remember to conduct yourselves accordingly, because we do have an appearance that we have to make. So continue to sanctify yourselves. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.